Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. Today we're going to be taking an in-depth look at the all-new 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe Z71. In this video, I'm going to cover all of the ins and outs and take this thing for a thorough drive. I'll also talk about performance and capabilities, options, new features, pricing, and so much more. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up and let her run. For 2021, the Tahoe and Suburban are all new. They both benefit from a major top-to-bottom overhaul in order to really hone in on the limitations of their predecessors. At the core of these SUVs is an all-new chassis architecture that features a longer wheelbase and an all-new independent rear suspension. These two changes alone create a serious generational gap between the new models and their predecessors. There's also improvements to the powertrain, including a new diesel offering and a standard 10-speed automatic transmission. Most of what I'll be covering in this video can be applied to the Tahoe and the Suburban, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to keep things focused on the Tahoe. The styling is familiar but all new. There's so much more detailing in the bodywork that you'll have to see it all in person to truly appreciate the new look. The Tahoe's body is 6.7 inches longer, while the wheelbase is 4.9 inches longer. Third row legroom increases by 40%, while cargo volume behind the third row increases by 66%. In case you aren't already familiar with the previous Tahoe, these are significant increases, but I'll dive into more of the specifics of the interior later in the video. In today's world of fast-evolving technology, the new Tahoe and Suburban benefit from an all-new digital vehicle platform that offers 5 times the data processing power than the system used in their predecessors. It not only drives the new technologies found throughout, but it's also designed to support vehicle health monitoring and the ability for over-the-air updates, with ample bandwidth to add new technologies over time. The platform is also claimed to offer industry-leading cybersecurity protections. Base pricing for a 2021 Tahoe, including destination, ranges between $50,295 for a two-wheel drive LS and $73,895 for a four-wheel drive High Country. The rest of the lineup consists of the LT, Z71, RST, and Premier. There's a total of 6 trim levels, double that of the previous Tahoe. Of course, we'll be talking about the Z71 for the most part, which starts at $60,495. This is my favorite trim level. I love the rugged looks, especially when it comes to the front end. The bumper allows for a higher approach angle to improve off-road capability. The front also has red tow hooks, a skid plate, and a black grille with dark chrome accents. There's a little more dark chrome trim on the tailgate, but everything else, including the roof rails, belt line, and badging, is glossy black. Unique wheels and tires and black tubular assist steps round out the styling differences. LED headlamps and tail lamps are standard on every trim level. At its base price, the Z71 is more or less a cosmetic package. This example is also equipped with the $5,735 Z71 off-road package, which includes substantial suspension enhancements and a bunch of trailering features, not to mention more interior features and driver assistance technologies. Other options shown here include the rear media and nav package, second row bucket seats, and a power sliding front floor console. The total MSRP for everything you see here is $69,440. Across the lineup, the Tahoe is available with either 18-inch, 20-inch, or 22-inch wheels. The Z71 is equipped with unique 20-inch machined aluminum wheels with technical gray pockets. The Z71 also adds all-terrain tires, 275/60s to be specific. As far as brakes, all Tahoes have four-wheel internally ventilated discs. At 13.5 by 1.2 inches, the front discs are a bit larger. The rear discs span 13.6 by 1 inch. The discs are clamped down by 4-piston and single-piston calipers respectively. With this setup, the Tahoe is able to stop from 60 miles an hour in about 127 feet. What really separates the new Tahoe from its predecessor is the suspension design. The front continues to be an independent setup with coilover shocks and a stabilizer bar. The rear is an all-new independent multi-link design that significantly improves driving dynamics by allowing each rear wheel to handle road conditions separately to improve ride quality, steering responsiveness, and overall control when compared to the previous live axle design. In my opinion, the new Tahoe has the driving characteristics of a smaller SUV even though it grew in size. The multi-link design consists of 3 lateral arms, a large longitudinal arm, coil springs, and a robust stabilizer bar. Taking things one step further, Chevrolet also offers an adaptive air ride suspension on the Z71 and High Country models. It offers automatic load leveling capability and ride height adjustment. If equipped, air springs replace the standard coil springs. On the highway, the system automatically lowers the ride height by 3/4 of an inch to improve aerodynamics and fuel economy. There's also a driver selectable setting that lowers the suspension by 2 inches to aid passenger entry and exit when parked. You can even raise the body for additional ground clearance when off-roading by 1 inch at low speeds and 4-wheel drive high, and an additional 1 inch at low speeds and 4-wheel drive low. That's not all though. Magnetic ride control is also available on the Z71, and it's standard on the Premier and High Country. It's one of the fastest reacting damping systems in the industry, using sensors to continuously read the road and alter damping rates of the shocks almost instantly. MRC reacts much faster than a traditional shock absorber to help reduce the bouncing, body roll, and vibrations that traditionally plague full-size SUVs. With the Z71 off-road package, MRC and Air Ride are included. This is by far the best handling, best riding Tahoe I've ever driven. The steering is an electric power-assisted rack and pinion setup. It feels a lot quicker and more communicative than the previous generation. The turning diameter is about a foot smaller too, around 39 feet or so. Naturally, the Z71 is only offered with 4-wheel drive. Across the rest of the lineup, it's optional. If equipped, you get a 2-speed transfer case with a 2.72:1 low-range ratio, hill descent control, and a 4-auto mode that allows the drivetrain to seamlessly switch between 2- and 4-wheel drive based on road conditions. Of course, trailering ability is an important aspect of the full-size SUV segment. The Tahoe incorporates a number of trailering technologies pioneered by the new Silverado. The Z71 off-road package includes the Tahoe's otherwise optional Max trailering package. With it, you receive a high-capacity radiator and cooling fan, an integrated trailer brake controller, a hitch view camera with hitch guiding assistance, and Chevrolet's new trailering app. The app allows you to input custom trailer profiles, test trailer lights, diagnose electrical issues, monitor tire pressures, run through trailering checklists, and more. Up to 9 camera views are available, including high-definition surround vision and independent front, side, and rear view cameras that make hooking up and traveling with a trailer so much simpler, especially if you're doing it all by yourself. Chevrolet also has started affixing trailering labels on the inside driver's door jamb. It lists all of the necessary information to calculate the exact capabilities of the new Tahoe. When properly equipped, the Tahoe can tow up to 8,400 pounds and haul up to 1,834 pounds. For 2021, the Tahoe comes standard with a 5.3-liter V8, with the exception of the High Country, which is fitted with a more powerful 6.2-liter V8. Across the lineup, with the exception of the Z71, you also have the option of a new Duramax 3-liter turbo diesel inline 6. The lack of a diesel option here seems strange considering the Z71 is the more off-road focused model. However, the 5.3-liter is still a great engine. Like the previous generation Tahoe, it develops 355 horsepower at 5,600 RPM and 383 pound-feet of torque at 4,100 RPM. The engine is constructed using aluminum for the block and heads and features an overhead valve design with 2 valves per cylinder and variable valve timing. Fuel is delivered via direct injection. The compression ratio is 11:1. Max engine speed is 5,800 RPM. A couple of advanced fuel-saving technologies include auto start stop and dynamic fuel management. The latter is an industry first that incorporates a number of cylinder deactivation modes that are designed to optimize engine efficiency across a broad range of driving conditions, such as when towing a trailer. The auto start stop system is one of the smoothest I've experienced to date. EPA estimated fuel economy ratings for the 5.3-liter using regular 87 octane range between 16 miles per gallon in the city and 20 miles per gallon on the highway. In mixed driving, I saw around 18 miles per gallon. The total tank capacity is 24 gallons. The standard transmission with all of the Tahoe's available engines is an all-new 10-speed automatic transmission. It's electronically controlled with buttons on the dash instead of a traditional column shifter. It replaces the previous 6-speed automatic. The 10-speed was originally developed through a joint effort between Ford and GM. Of course, each manufacturer has their own way of doing things when it comes to final programming, shift strategies, and overall powertrain execution. It features a short 4.69:1 first gear ratio and a tall 0.63:1 final overdrive ratio. Out of the 10 forward speeds, the top 3 are overdrive ratios. A mechanical limited slip differential is standard, along with a final drive ratio of 3.23:1. The 10-speed with its closely spaced ratios makes the Tahoe feel significantly more responsive and more refined in day-to-day use. The closeness of the gears also allow for smoother and quicker gear changes, which should also help trailering performance. As far as performance, this example hits 60 miles an hour in about 7.4 seconds, which isn't super quick, but it is an improvement over its predecessor. For comparison, the High Country's 6.2-liter V8 develops 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque, a significant difference for sure. I really hope to test out the diesel one day as well. With 277 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque, and fuel economy estimates ranging between 20 miles per gallon in the city and 26 miles per gallon on the highway for four-wheel drive models, it sounds super intriguing. The interior of the new Tahoe offers class-leading space, better build quality, and lots of new technology. There's more soft-touch materials, including stitched padding on the dash, door panels, and center console. The Premier and High Country trims get really fancy with unique luxury touches and features, including an optional panoramic sunroof and High Country exclusive power retractable running boards. Leather upholstery is standard on the Z71. Interior colors are limited to black or a dark brown and light gray two-tone. The satin finish bright work and faux wood provides a nice contrast. The driver and front passenger seats feature 8-way power adjustments and 2-way power lumbar. The driver gets a couple memory preset settings for various features. For added comfort, the Z71 is available with heated front seats and a heated steering wheel. The seats are quite comfortable and offer great lower back support. The headrests and seatbelts are manually adjustable. The steering wheel is available with full power adjustments. The upper spokes house a number of controls for all of the essential features. There's radio controls on the back of the upper spokes. The driver's information system includes comprehensive vehicle data as well as fuel economy and trip data. There's also menus for media and navigation, telephone, and a number of system settings. A 4.2-inch instrument cluster display is standard on the LS, LT, RST, and Z71. However, a larger 8-inch reconfigurable display is available on the Z71 and standard on the Premier and High Country. The infotainment system is all new, featuring a high-definition 10.2-inch capacitive touch display, a built-in Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless capabilities for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Of course, there's plenty of other media options too, including, but not limited to, Sirius XM satellite radio, HD radio, and Bluetooth streaming. This new infotainment system is packed with features. Built-in navigation is included on the Z71. There's also an expansive app suite so you can keep tabs on what's important to you. A tri-zone climate control system is standard, which offers independent temperature control for the driver, front passenger, and the rear passengers. It can all be controlled via the buttons and knobs in the lower center stack or via the infotainment system. The Tahoe is offered with a few different audio systems across the lineup. The LT, Z71, and RST have a 9-speaker Bose system that offers quite a punch. The Premier and High Country have a 10-speaker Bose system with center point surround sound. The LS has a basic 6-speaker system. Of course, there's ample storage space throughout the interior. Up front, the console has pockets on either side and both open and closed storage with a tray on top of the lid. One of the coolest optional features is the power sliding rear portion that slides back up to 10 inches so you can place larger items in between the front seats. There's also a hidden drawer that's only accessible when the console is slid back. If you stick with the standard fixed console, you can opt for a locking storage compartment for even greater security of smaller items. Towards the front of the console, there's cup holders and additional media inputs, including USB Type-A and Type-C inputs and an SD card slot. The inputs are normally located inside the console. They're relocated when opting for the power sliding console. Every trim level, with the exception of the LS, has a wireless phone charger in the center console with built-in charger cooling. To the right of the infotainment system, there's a small covered compartment. The glove box offers a generous amount of space and it's lockable. Each door panel has 2 pockets. As I mentioned earlier, one of the biggest improvements for the new Tahoe was rear seat space. Thanks to more efficient interior packaging, the lengthened wheelbase, and of course the new rear suspension, legroom for second row passengers increases by 3 inches, while legroom for third row passengers increases by a whopping 10.2 inches. The longer wheelbase also allowed for larger rear doors, helping improve ingress and egress. For the first time, the Tahoe's second row seats can slide. You have about 5.5 inches of adjustment. A bench seat is standard on all trims except for the Premier and High Country. With this example, the bucket seats were a $370 option. They have individual armrests and adjustable headrests. They can even recline for added relaxation. Being 5 foot 10 inches, I was more than comfortable in the second row with plenty of head and leg room to spare. Taller folks will have no issue here. Heated second row seats are included in the Z71 off-road package. It's also worth noting that the seats now fold and tumble easier. The optional powered function makes the process effortless. Storage options for the second row include 2-tier door pockets, seat back pockets, and cup holders at the rear of the center console, which also houses 2 USB Type-C ports, the climate controls, and a 110-volt AC power outlet. To ensure everyone's comfortable temperature-wise, there's adjustable air vents mounted in the roof for the second and third row. This example is equipped with a newly optional rear seat media system. It's claimed to be the most advanced and capable system of its kind in the full-size SUV segment. Each 12.6-inch screen offers independent connections and HDMI inputs so passengers can watch different content on each side. On top of that, the rear passengers can share content from one screen to the other, mirror content from a smartphone, and send navigation points of interest like restaurant suggestions or pit stop locations to the central infotainment screen up front. It's a sweet setup. The third row seat was honestly one of the biggest drawbacks of the previous generation Tahoe and Suburban. With all of the additional legroom and better positioning of the seat itself, I can sit back there with no issue and still be relatively comfortable. This is a huge improvement to say the least. It's definitely easier to access the third row too. Obviously, there's not as much room as the second row, but it's a much better space that can actually accommodate 2 adults. With the second row slid all the way back, my knees touch the seat backs, so depending on the height of whoever is sitting in the third row, you might have to slide the second row up a bit. With how much room you have in the second row, I don't foresee that ever being an issue. In the third row, you have cup holders on either side, as well as USB Type-C charge ports. If needed, the headrests for the second and third row can be folded for better visibility. The Z71 comes standard with a hands-free power liftgate. In other words, along with it being fully powered, it can also sense when you're standing behind it and open up automatically as long as you have the key fob on you. This is especially handy if you're carrying a bunch of stuff. If you need to haul some longer items that still won't fit with the seats folded flat, you can also open up the rear glass. Along with improving interior space, the Tahoe's new platform also expanded cargo room out back. The first thing I noticed was the flat load floor. The previous generation also had a flat load floor, but it was raised relative to the entry threshold in order to match the height of the third row seat when it was folded down. At the time, this was the compromise to ensure the load floor remained flat across the folded third and second row seats. Thanks to the more efficient packaging, the new Tahoe is able to have a lower load floor that still remains flat across the entry threshold and all folded seats, which is awesome. As expected, this did a lot to improve cargo space. Not only that, but there's still a covered compartment underneath the load floor. Behind the third row seat, you have 25.5 cubic feet worth of space. There's cargo tie-downs on either side if needed, plus an additional 110-volt AC power outlet. Like the second row, power folding third row seats are optional. Behind the second row, you have 72.6 cubic feet of space. With all of the seats folded flat, the total cargo volume is 122.9 cubic feet. That's about 1 cubic foot more than the total cargo volume of a 2020 Suburban. That's a massive improvement. Well everyone, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the in-depth look at the 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe. Be sure to leave a like down below. It really helps the video a lot, and if you haven't subscribed already, consider doing so because there's always a lot more content where that came from. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.